Hello one and all, we have a fighter heavy week here at the channel that I'm the only person on. I don't know why I say we. I said why we say we. That's a whole other thing. Today I am going to go over the best third-party fighter feats. There are loads for this class, weirdly, largely because I've had to break things up into different categories. Normally I go over origin and general feats. This time I've also got fighting style feats to consider, and weapon feats in general, which will make more sense when we get to them, but are largely from the Helliana's Guide to Monster Hunting, if not entirely. That being said, we have a long list today, so let's just get to it. Kicking off with the origin feats. This is the smallest list of origin feats I've had for a class, but that doesn't really matter. So Bloodhound is my first pick. This is from the Grim Hollow Player's Guide. This one allows you to become aware of any creature that is small or larger when it moves within 10 feet of you, as long as you're not unconscious. It also gives you advantage on perception checks that rely on sound or smell. This is good if you're going for a wisdom-based fighter, but I think it's a good one anyway, just to kind of go for that fantasy of being hyper aware of your surrounding and potential opponents, which I think is a cool fighter fantasy to play with. Next up is Convincing Inquisitor, also from the Grim Hollow Player's Guide. This one allows you to not have disadvantage to influence hostile creatures, which is always good, and it gives you advantage on influence checks against indifferent creatures. And you might be thinking, but Jason, that is a charisma check, and let me tell you, you're wrong. It also allows you to use any ability modifier when you try to roll for intimidation or persuasion, which is cool because it means you get to play out the strength for intimidation or persuasion, which I think makes a lot of sense. It also gives you advantage on initiative rolls involving combat against a creature if you've used an insight check against a creature within the last hour, which is cool. Then we have Resolution of the Syndicate. This is an interesting one. I think it's fun. I think is more the thing, but it's the second part of it that's really good. You get Quick Strike, which on your first turn after rolling initiative, you get to add 1d4 to the first damage roll you make. This goes up by another d4 at level 9 and 2d4 at level 16. Which is something. And it also gives you Resilient, which boosts your HP by an amount equal to your level when you get the feat. It's obviously an origin feat, so it's usually going to be 1, and then an additional 1 point there from there on as well. So it's great if you're making a real bag of hit points. Moving on to the fighting style feats, we have Advanced Weapon Proficiency, which is also from Grim Hollow. This can be taken as a general feat if you're level 8 or higher, but mostly this gives you proficiency with advanced weapons, which is necessary. These are beyond martial weapons, and these are the really cool ones you get with Grim Hollow Player's Guide. They are super fun, so definitely worth checking out. You've also got Close Combat Artillerist. This doesn't give you disadvantage. This negates the disadvantage on ranged attack rolls if you're within 5 feet of a creature, and if you hit a creature within 5 feet of you with a ranged attack, you get a +2 to the damage rolls, which is super fun. I think I said super fun too many times already, but here we are. There's also Dual Shot. This gives you the chance to make an extra attack. This is Dual Shot, also from Grim Hollow Player's Guide. When you take the attack action on your turn and attack with a bow or crossbow, you can make one extra attack as part of the same action against a creature that is within 10 feet of the original target that is within the weapon's range. If you do so, both attacks are made with disadvantage. I do think this is a hard sell, but if you've got a high enough chance to hit, then that could still be worth it. Then there's Flurry. Once on each of your turns, when you make an attack with a weapon or unarmed strike with advantage, you can ignore the advantage to make a second attack at a creature within 5 feet of the original target that is within the weapon's reach. Neither of those attacks can have disadvantage. It's kind of like Cleave, but you can apply it to anything. What's cool with this is if you have a great sword and you're doing this, it guarantees damage if you've got the Graze Mastery, which is, super fun. I said super fun again. I'm tired, clearly. Get through the rest of the video without saying super fun, other than that time, which obviously doesn't count. Mobile Combatant is next. When you take the attack action, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the turn, and any opportunity attacks against you have disadvantage. This pairs really well with the Charger feat and with any kind of hit and run playstyle. Opportunist gives you a +2 bonus to your attack rolls and damage rolls when you make an attack as part of your reaction. This is really good if you're going for a Sentinel build, but also if you're doing a Monster Hunter. Not that this is about the Monster Hunter, because it's not, it's about the fighter, but I stand by it. Prone Defense is here. I do not know what the specific reasons are for having this, apart from lying down with a crossbow, but when you have the prone condition, you don't have disadvantage on attack rolls, and an attack roll against you doesn't have disadvantage if the attacker is within 5 feet of you. Along with that, you can write yourself within 5 feet of movement. I think this is for lying down with a crossbow or something, like I said, but I don't know. Although there is a comment saying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has entered the chat, and that is very funny. On to general feats now. We have Black Powder Pistol Expert. This combines the cool stuff from a couple of feats that you might want to use if you're using black powder pistols. It lets you increase your dex, con, or intelligence by 1. It means that attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with a pistol, which is good because I believe it has a short range of 30 feet. It might even be 20, actually. You can ignore the loading property of the pistol, which is good, and if a creature within 5 feet of you moves, you can take a reaction to make a ranged attack using the black powder pistol against that creature, which is nice. I take that as it being when they enter your space, but it could be as they're moving around you as well, which is useful. Brutal Grip is one of my favorites. It allows you to increase your strength by 1 and then wield a melee weapon with the two-handed property in one hand. Along with this, if you're wielding a weapon with a versatile property in one hand, it counts as a light weapon for you. This means you can do a longsword and dagger build, for example, if you still wanted to use the Nick property. Both of those, I much prefer Greatsword and Shield personally, but that's because I play too many Souls-likes. Expanded Grip is very similar. It allows you to improve your dex, con, or strength. I don't know why I did that in the wrong order. And if you're using a versatile weapon in one hand, you can deal the upgraded damage dice with it. So this could pair quite well with Brutal Grip. And if an effect forces you to drop what you're holding, you can make a DC 15 strength throw to maintain your grip. You can also give yourself advantage on any saving throw to maintain your grip, which is niche, but could be handy. Focus Critical is one of the best feats for any damage dealing build. Strength or dex boost, and it allows you to crit on 19 or 20. I always rule this as stacking on top of any other reductions in crit range, improvements on crit range. Yeah, so this can be very handy, but even if you don't rule it like that, this allows you to gain that boost with so many classes. But here, fighter specifically. Iron Gut allows you to improve your strength, constitution, or charisma. I don't know why it's charisma. Doesn't make any any sense to me, but maybe it doesn't need to. It gives you advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the poison condition, which can be very, very useful depending on the campaign you're in. It gives you advantage on survival checks to find food, which is also very handy. And as a bonus action, it allows you to expend one of your hit point die and roll the dice, add your con mod, and then you regain a number of hit points equal to the roll's benefit. You can only do that once per short or long rest, but it's a nice bit of extra healing if you feel as though your second winds are not cutting it. Iron Hero, which is from the Valdespiro Secrets Players Pack, one of my favorite releases, allows you to improve your strength and dexterity, it has Underdog's Resolve. When you are attacked by a creature that has a CR higher than your level, you gain a +2 to your AC for that attack. You get advantage on attack rolls against creature that has reduced one of your allies to 0 hit points since the end of your last turn, and if a creature you see takes a legendary action, you can use your reaction to stop that from happening. You can do that a number of times. You get your proficiency bonus and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That last one I do think is important to note. I do think there should probably be a range of some kind on there. Maybe it could be your attack range. So if you're using a longbow or something, then sure, you can do it from anywhere. But I think generally you're going to be using that in melee. Marksman's Luck is perfect for ranged fighters. It allows you to boost your dex by 1, and once per turn when you roll damage with a ranged weapon, you can flip one of the damage dice open and use the number on the bottom. You can't do this on D4. And for a balanced die, the top and bottom numbers add up to 1 more than the die's largest number. Basically, if you roll a 1, you can turn it over and it will be a 6 instead. A 2 will become a 5, a 3 will become a 4. So it's a useful way of boosting your damage by at least the consistency of your damage by a notable amount. Along with that, if you crit with a ranged weapon, the target speed is reduced to 0 until the end of its next turn, which is absolutely amazing. Opportunistic Thief is from the Humblewood campaign setting. It allows you to improve your dex score by 1, and if a creature fails a melee attack against you in combat, you can make a sleight of hand check against a DC equal to 10 plus the target's dex mod, and on a success, you can steal 1 item that's not being held or worn by the target. Along with that, when using your sleight of hand skill outside of combat to steal an object, you can immediately conceal it flawlessly on your person, or even put another object you possess in its place. I just like this one for the vibes. Thrown Weapon Master is a fantastic one if you're looking to make a lot of attacks. I've talked about this in a few builds before. It allows you to improve your strength or dex by 1 up to a maximum of 20. And when you take the attack action to make a ranged attack, using a simple weapon that has the thrown property, you can make 2 more ranged attacks with simple weapons that have the thrown property as a bonus action. Also, as a bonus action, you can grab to stow or wield all simple weapons with thrown property that are within 5 feet of you. It's very silly. So you can grab a bunch of daggers. Kind of cool. And also, and most importantly, well, second most importantly, it gives all thrown weapons you are proficient with the returning property. So they come back to you whether they hit or miss. Incredibly good if you're looking to make a whole bunch of attacks. Finally, we are on to the weapon specific feats, basically, from Heliana's. I didn't really know where else to put these, but I do really like them, and the fighter feels like the most apt class to go through them in, basically. Blade Barrier requires you to have proficiency with twin blades. It allows you to, when you use the Whirl special bonus action, you make an additional attack with the weapon, which does D4, it's a bit like Polearm Master on that front, but also other creatures provoke an opportunity attack when they enter your reach or make a melee attack against you while they are within your reach, so you've got a better chance of hitting with that opportunity attack, basically. Cat's Caress requires proficiency with claws, and if you take the attack action with a claw in one hand, you can use a bonus action to make 2 melee attacks with a claw in a different hand. You don't add your ability mod unless you've got the 2-weapon fighting style. You also get advantage to hit a target that you're grappling with an attack using a claw, and you can equip or unequip a single or a pair of claws using a bonus action or action. I don't think that's relevant in 2024 rules because you can just weapon juggle a bit easier, but it's useful. Fearsome Flourisher is the nunchuck one. When you take the attack action with a nunchuck, you can use a bonus action to make 1 additional attack with a weapon. Again, when you take the Flourish special action with a nunchuck, you can use a bonus action to make it especially intimidating towards 1 creature within your reach. If you don't fail on your dex check to flourish the weapon, the target must succeed in a wisdom saving throw or become frightened. If you are proficient in the intimidation skill, you can add your proficiency bonus to the DC, which is fun. I said which is fun, not which is super fun. So here we are. Scourge Master requires proficiency with whips or tether hooks. It increases your strength or dex by 1 up to a maximum of 20. The others don't, and I don't really know why. I would 100% rule that as being the case. I'm not your DM. When you hit a creature with an attack using a tether hook or whip, you can use a bonus action to attempt to disarm the creature of a shield or 1 item it's holding. You make a strength or dex check, contested by the target's strength check, and if you succeed, the item is dropped on the ground midway between you and the creature. You can also use your whip or tether hook to grab items weighing less than 1 pound within reach of the weapon, pulling them back to your person. And finally, we have Spray and Pray, which requires proficiency with a Magitech firearm or Tommy bow. You can reload these as a bonus action or as an action. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls. When you use the attack action and attack with a one-handed weapon, you can use a bonus action to attack with a one-handed firearm or Tommy bow you're holding. So it's a bit like the crossbow expert feat on all fronts so far. And after you take the attack action with a Tommy bow or Magitech firearm, you can use a bonus action to quickly make 1 or 2 additional ranged attacks with the same weapon. If you choose 2, you take a -5 penalty to both attack rolls, and you don't add your ability modifier to the bonus attacks unless that modifier is negative. Just an interesting way to do things. Super hoping for the best, luck-wise. But that was it for the fighter feats, at least. A lot of them. I blitzed through some of them because they're generally a little bit simpler to understand. Let me know if you're using any of the Heliana's weapon feats and how you implement those. I've given them away before as a reward for saying that someone is training, or if they meet a mentor of some kind. I'm always happy to give away some of the more niche feats, especially as the library of feat options grows larger with more third-party options and more first-party options too. But let me know how you do it if you're a DM, and let me know your favorite ones, or if you're using any of these on your fighter. That's it for this time. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I hope that you are doing well, and that you continue to do well, and that you take care, and that you get a chance to do a bit of a nap, and also get some push-ups in, all that good stuff. I will see you next time, whenever that may be. Hopefully Thursday, when I've got a fighter build going up. Goodbye.